Hi guys, welcome back. Today we'll be playing chess on lichess.org. It's a free website. So we'll be doing a rating climb today. Let's see how far we can get. Let's just start the game right now. Let's go for 10 plus 5 rapid. Now I think it does take a little time to bear. Okay, we got white. Let's play b3. This is called the Nimzowitsch-Larsen attack. It's a really rare move you can face. Uh, I'm just playing this online. Just don't play this in tournaments unless it's against like a much weaker player. I'm just playing it for fun right now. But if you do decide to study this opening a lot and like you use it in a tournament, I would suggest you use it in like fast games, bullet or blitz. There are OTB blitz tournaments. You can use this opening in those. This is a very positional as well as tactical opening. There are a lot of traps here. You can go ahead and study it. I'll see about making a video explaining the opening. So basically the idea is after b3, bishop b2, the bishop attacks g7. Okay, so basically in some lines, Black accidentally just moves the bishop before the knight and loses the rook, which is why you have to follow the opening fundamentals. And one of the fundamentals is you develop the knights before the bishops. Bishop f5. So let's go with. I want to play bishop e2. Let's go with c4. C4 is actually one of the main central breaks in this opening. Because if d4, there's always bishop takes c4, and like you hear from a lot of people who play chess, to take is a mistake. So if d takes c4, bishop takes c4, and black is helping white to develop their bishop. Now we can go ahead with bishop e2. Actually, right now to take is an okay move. Let's just kick the bishop out, and then, okay, he went to e7. So basically, as I was saying, um, like before playing bishop b4, dc4 would have been a really good move because I moved my bishop to e2 and I have to move it a second time, and moving the same piece twice or thrice before developing all your pieces is like not really suggested. So black could have done that. And here when black did bishop b4, I did a3 and he went back to e7. Basically, we could have reached the same position if black just played bishop e7. But now my pawn just went to a3 and it's my turn still. So here, I'll say we castle. So our king is safe. Yeah, this is what I said. Moving the same piece twice or thrice in the opening is bad because you're wasting a lot of moves which you can use to develop your piece, safeguard your king, all of that. You're just wasting it on moving around one piece. Here, let's just d3. and d4 are both actually good moves right now. If you go d4, the e4 square, he can enter. Mm, yeah, let's go d3. Our position is very solid. Okay, black is just moving the pieces he already moved again. Let's develop the final piece. Now all our minor pieces are developed. Our king is safe. Now we just gotta move the queen and connect the rooks. So how do we do that? We can play rook c1. But rooks, yeah, let's just play rook c1. Usually, white brings one of their rooks to the c file because you can always just take and make a semi-open or open file. And now black can play like queen e7 or maybe queen a5 to just attack the pawn. So for black, I'm guessing the best move would be to castle. Just safeguard the king. You developed all your minor pieces, so now you got a castle. Okay, now we can just play b4 and expand on the queen side. And I actually kind of like that idea. It also stops the bishop from attacking a3. Now we can play c5. Okay, a6. I'm guessing he thought I would play b5. Now we can play c5, and that b6 square is a hole. Basically, a hole means like none of black's pawns can control that square, but our pawn is controlling it. It's also called an outpost since we have our pawn there. So we can just somehow bring our knight there, and it'll be very strong. So we can play c5, or we can, I don't know, break open the center somehow. E4 would be alright, but we'd lose a pawn in that. Would we? I think we would. Yeah, we would lose a pawn. No. Wait a second. No. I think we'll act. We might. No, if takes, and if knight e4, bishop e4, the bishop on d6 hangs. And if you take it with a bishop, thinking, okay, knight takes, well, guess what? I have bishop f6 attacking the queen, so you take that. Then I take the bishop fork, so I'm getting two extra pieces in that line. And this is why you should actually calculate deeply. Because if I just calculated bishop takes and like if knight takes, I can't take, I would have just left it. Because like I'm just losing a pawn. But you should not have tunnel vision and like not only look at this area, you should look at the whole board. And then I saw bishop takes f6 and it attacks the queen, so you gain a tempo. So we played e4, and now black can take on e4, black can take on c4, or black can just leave it and play anything else. And then we can just trade off all the pawns. I'm guessing, okay, takes. We take back with the pawn, e5, okay. And now what we can do is actually, we can play c5, create two outposts, and then our knight can jump to c4, and we can enter one of those holes, as well as attack the e5 pawn. So, oh, but our e4 pawn is weak. But yeah, we do get the e5 pawn. Okay, so bishop c7, because of course if you play bishop e7, the e5 pawn hangs. So bishop, and also you cannot defend b6. Also, I guess your knight is there. So what can black play? Of course, black has to play bishop c7. I play knight c4. Then black can play rook e8. Black can play rook e8, defending the pawn. Knight e8, okay. Interesting. So knight f e5, knight e5, knight e5, bishop e5, bishop e5. Okay, but if takes, and you move your queen, pinning it, I guess I can just take your bishop, you take my bishop, I take your rook, something like that. Oh wait, no, if you go there, okay, no, never mind, you took already, right? Okay, so let's just take two attackers on the knight, two defenders. When the number of attackers and the number of defenders are the same, basically the attackers don't overcome the defenders. Okay, but if there are like three attackers, let's say like the queen was here, then yeah, I would have lost a piece. So okay, knight f6 is an interesting move. We can take on g6 and have the double bishop advantage. What we can also do is just trade off the queens and fight for the open file. And we can keep the extra pawn with f3. So we can basically do take, 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 push, which is not a bad idea. Honestly, not a bad idea. Do we go for it? Yeah. So take. So since with a pawn up, we can now simplify, trade off as many pieces as we can, and go into an endgame. Because the more the pieces, the more complex the position becomes, and so the harder are the chances to win. Like the harder it is to win. Now you can play knight c7 to try to keep control. Okay, so what do we play here? Ooh, it looks like our bishop is trapped. So let's play g3. Now you gotta go to g5 or h6. Then I can play f4. Like if you go to h6, what can I play here? I mean, I can just enter into d6 with my knight. I can play e5, but your knight goes to d5, and I do not want that. I can put my knight on b6. I think let's put my knight on d6 and attack the pawn on b7. Okay, you go and defend. What, bishop e5? Yeah, bishop e5 looks good. Now if we move the knight, okay, knight d7, not bad. So now, if we go there, we do lose the extra pawn. Now we retreat to c3, I guess. Next we'll play bishop c4 check. We can play check, take. Let's just go back first. Then we play knight f7 check. And I think we win. Because the knight's hanging, we can double check. Basically, when two pieces check, give a check at once, it's called a double check. And you have no other option but to move the king. Because, like, you can block one of the checks but not the other. So you're forced to move the king. And right now, knight h6 check, king h8. Yeah, I'm just threatening mate right now. Check, king moves, and that's mate. Yeah, that's a discovered check. That is checkmate. That was a really nice game played by my opponent. He was actually very strong for his rating. I'll say his real rating would be about 1600. So let's analyze the game. So I had a really big advantage for more like a lot of the game. So it's according to the computer, knight c4 was a mistake. Should have played queen c2, but you kind of put yourself into a pin. Yeah, knight e8 was a really bad move because from here you have no other square except going back. This was another bad move. You should have just traded. And it was a really nice way. I just simplified. Yeah, actually, this would have been much better. You would have been an exchange down, but anyway, it is losing. This just led to a forced checkmate. Yeah, basically, if I take that, I'm just threatening mating one. So 94, yeah, you would have no choice. But I just did that, and yeah, it was a really nice game. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this game today, make sure to like and subscribe. So, see you later.